The two locations for that are the Civic Center in Anderson, as well as Trinity Baptist Church in Williamson. So there seems to be a very well-coordinated effort in Anderson County as well to prepare for these conditions that are happening now, and as well as what's going to happen in the next several hours. But I'll tell you right now, it's very cold out here, as you can probably tell just looking at me. A lot of precipitation coming down as we speak. No one has any business driving in this stuff unless you absolutely have to. Tim Waller, WIFF News 4, live in Anderson County.
Tim, thank you. We want to talk quickly about Greenwood because that's where conditions are changing as well. We just got this on our Facebook page from Gwen Dean Robb. She said Greenwood is getting all ice now. It is miserable. Uploaded to WF4.com also from Greenwood.
Yeah, heard from a number of viewers now in Greenwood, Lawrence County, Abbeville County. Really appreciate those pictures. Send them our way because you are really seeing those conditions change so quickly. Obviously, seeing some snow earlier, and now, as we're talking about miserable conditions there with ice. Let's get Waddell.
All right, let's begin then with live Super Doppler 4 HD as we scan the 150-mile range. You can see the area of snow blanketing a good bit of the upstate, now into the foothills of North Carolina. And then a line of ice or sleet and freezing rain begins in southern Abbeville County through half of Greenwood County, continuing into Saluda into the Midlands. But we're still getting heavy blasts of snow across the area and will into the afternoon and evening. So it's continuing to mount up on roads as we look from our Greenville Hilton Skycam. Mostly smaller flakes right now, but it's just consistently going to continue to fall through the day. Let's show you the temperatures. That's a key thing. It dropped from 31 at 2 a.m. to 25 now for Greenville and Spartanburg. Asheville has dropped to 23, 26 in Anderson. So it's cold, and what will continue to fall across the area sticks readily with these very cold temperatures. Feels like 13 in Boone, so if kids are playing outdoors, they need to dress warmly as our heavy snow and ice accumulation continues with this winter storm in play till 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Let's go to Chris Justice. He's going to take you on a magical mystery tour with live Super Doppler 4 HD. Chris?
Well, Dale, it's more like a winter wonderland out here. I feel like I'm in a snow globe outside of our studios. The snow continues to fall, and it's more heavy. Now, you can Greenwood and Abbeville over toward Lawrence, starting to see that transition over to some sleet and even at times freezing rain. All of us are below freezing, so why are we getting nothing but snow? Well, up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, Gulf moisture moving in, and that's going to warm us up. So it may be freezing at the surface, but higher up is warmer. Let's take you on a radar tour and show you where it's snowing and where we expect it. Nothing but snow for the Greenville area right now, and it's quite heavy. Go down toward Greenwood, 2 to 4 inches, and south of there, pretty much all ice, except for the snow you have on the ground now. And look at this. This is a catastrophic ice down toward the south. And look where it stops, right at I-85, from Spartanburg to Greenville, back toward Clemson. Down toward the south, we're talking about ice that could accumulate over an inch. It's not a matter of when or if the power is going to go out. It's a matter of when in some of those areas. A Category 2 ice storm. That's how we measure ice storms now. Gives you a better idea of just the impact of it. Southern Greenwood, Abbeville, Newberry, Lawrence, Elbert, Hart, and Franklin counties. Up to a very high power risk throughout the day today. Further to the south, you saw the video earlier, this ice storm will be a Category 4 for Atlanta, Augusta, and Columbia, where well over an inch of ice will coat power lines and coat the trees. Now back out here live, I can tell you, sitting here in the snow, it is a cold, kind of damp snow, and it's a wet snow, so it's going to be heavy. So anytime it's on those limbs, it's going to weigh them down, and the winds are expected to pick up today. And we will see probably a little area of drying out today. We'll get a little dry slot working in. That's just as that low pulls up the Atlantic coast. Then we'll get the back edge of it. Now we got Gulf moisture. On the back edge, we'll get Atlantic moisture that's wrapping back around that low. And that's when some of the heavier snow totals could start to come. So if you see a break of the snow today, don't think it's over because we're in this for at least the next 12 to 18 hours.
Emergency Management Agency, Columbia, South Carolina. A state of emergency is in effect. The National Weather Service has issued severe winter weather alerts for most of South Carolina, predicting snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Power outages and dangerous road conditions are likely. Monitor local media for changes in conditions. South Carolina Department of Public Safety and the Department of Transportation urge motorists to stay off the roadways. In the event of an emergency, dial 911. For the status of government offices statewide, visit scemd.org. 2021 broadcasting from the SCE TV tower on Terrace Mountain in Greenville County, operating on a frequency of 162.550 megahertz. This transmitter is serving the upstate of South Carolina.
Already down around Chester County in South Carolina, as much as 4 inches of snow. This is added to what obviously they saw there yesterday, but you can see from Gaffney along Interstate 85, we have snow showers all the way down Interstate 77 into Chester County, York County, Charlotte metro area, Lancaster, all the way over to take you to about 2 o'clock this afternoon. The snow continues to fall and continues to accumulate. Once you get down towards Lancaster, Monroe, and Rockingham, and those areas around 5 o'clock, that's a changeover to some sleet and snow mixed in. This is around 7 o'clock tonight. From uptown Charlotte all the way down towards Pineville, Matthews, Mint Hill, Indian Trail, Monroe, that is sleet. Then you get anywhere from uptown northbound along I-77, Highway 16, Interstate 85, 74 westbound. We're looking at all snow into the mountains. More snow continues to fall. Mountains and the foothills by 8 o'clock tonight. We see a changeover to sleet on top of the snow, so that makes driving treacherous. Now look over towards Rockingham, over towards the Sandhills in that area. That's freezing rain. That's why that area from Rockingham all the way down into the Midlands of South Carolina, this could be a major ice storm for those people, because that is freezing rain on top of the snow that had already fallen. That's around 11 o'clock tonight. Then we take you to Thursday morning. This is right around 12:30. Sleet across the entire Charlotte metro area. More snow for the Blue Ridge. Sleet continues at 4 a.m. More of that as we take you into tomorrow. And we can see a little bit of a change over to some sleet, freezing rain as we get towards late in the
And here we have another live picture. You can see another view there. And we want to go now to Anne-Marie Rosenquist, who is on the phone live with us. How are things looking from your vantage point, Anne-Marie?
Hey guys, I am actually taking 45 inner into the station, so I left from the Mid-Hill area heading in. And I've got to tell you, I am shocked at how many people are still out on these roads. Literally a traffic jam out of the loop. We said that into that South Charlotte area that is always heavily traveled. I'm not quite what they're doing, why they need. I know the governor and all our crews have shown people the conditions. I'm hoping they're getting off the road pretty quickly here, because there is no way that any plow from DOT can actually get behind this traffic and do some plowing. So I'm sure this is impeding the NCDOT efforts to try and make sure these major arteries are clear.
Cover this kind of stuff all the time, all day long. I know you do. How long is it taking you to get in what as it normally would compared to what it normally would?
Normally it's like a 35-minute drive. But I left at 10:45, and I just I'm coming up actually, I believe, on the Pineville exit. Yeah, the Pineville exit, which is exit 51. So I've been going about 30 miles per hour. But again, both inner and outer, there's tons of traffic. I can tell you that from Mid-Hill on Idlewild Road, again, just like Ira was mentioning before, you know, these secondary roads are very slick. I slid twice on Idlewild Road before I even could get to 45. And then really from that Idlewild Road until about the Matthews area, you're down to just one lane of travel. Once you kind of get into the Matthews area, it opens up and you actually have 2 lanes of travel. But again, you're looking at like 2 tire tracks that you need to make sure you're hitting so that you're not, you know, slipping into the next lane. So it's certainly treacherous out here, and people need to get off the road as soon as they can.
Giving it all morning long. Let me ask you this. Have you seen any accidents, any cars on the side of the road?
I've seen a couple. There's been a van that looked like having battery issues over on the right-hand side of the shoulder. Excuse me. Good thing is that everything that is seems to be like off the road, so it's not impeding anybody who is trying to follow the leader, so to speak, and stay right behind the car in front of them. But again, really no plows because, they can't get in and get any kind of, movement behind these cars.
We're showing some pictures of different driving conditions and different roads throughout our area right now, so we're kind of getting like a little peek of really what you're seeing as well.
We're in Gastonia right off of Cox Road. As you can see, the snow is beginning to really come down. Not sticking that much. The roads so far are passable. We've spoken to some folks who say a little further south in the Crampington area, they've seen some slick spots. But right now, your name is what?
Tyler.
Tyler, how are the roads for you?
They're fine so far. It's sticking a little bit.
Sticking a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Where do you have to drive today?
Stanley and Dallas area.
So have you heard anything? Are you concerned about what you see behind you?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I hope that it stops or it doesn't get too bad.
Look at our live picture and you can see just how many cars are out here on the road with us. It's not just us dealing with this. We're headed down a hill right now and you can sort of feel that. You've got a break. And you see the snow. At one point when we started out this drive, we could still see the roads. We could see the black. Now it is much more white covering these roads. Snow just completely covering them at this point.
Michelle, that vantage point is great. Thank you so much. You really put it in perspective for it. Nothing says it like pictures. We appreciate it. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit and be safe, okay?
All right, let's switch gears now and get over to the First Warn Storm Center where Larry is now joined by meteorologist John Wendell. And I know, Larry, all morning long we were talking about it would be an event that would start about now, and wow, in the last hour we've really seen the snow accumulating even on the roadways from all of our crews.
Yeah, very dramatic as we take a look at the Doppler radar. In fact, right now Megan Dana is back here looking at some storm totals. John Wendell is here. Brad is also part of the team, but snow continues to fall, and we're seeing some kind of sleet mixed in with that. John, we're going to see, hour after hour snow, and then there's going to.
DJ, you good? Got it. Okay. All right. First of all, thank you. It is. We are now in the brunt of the storm. We are starting to see what we've been waiting on. I will tell you that the numbers and the conditions look like it's going to be worse than the storm of 2004, where we had 200,000 outages and people without power for. We are continuing to see a major snowstorm in the upstate. We're seeing snow and ice here in the Midlands, and then certainly we're seeing a lot of wind down in the low country. We are working through Thursday, and then we'll have enough through Friday should we need it. 354 officers on the road, DPS, SLED, and DNR. I'm incredibly proud of them. We have already had 2 accidents involving officers. I would remind everybody to stay off the roads. It's so important to stay off the roads. If you get on the roads, your speed has to be slow. We had a fatality already on 95, and it was from a woman who couldn't slow down fast enough and got involved with an officer. So we need to make sure that everybody understands that you have to really proceed with caution if you're going to get on the roads. We've had an accident on 26. We have 125 of our great National Guardsmen out there with record crews helping and on standby as we need more. We have 12 shelters open. They are 10 warming stations that we have. We're working with the American Red Cross to get that done, and then we also have DHEC is open 2 special needs centers, one in Orangeburg and one in Darlington, as needed, and we are basically doing that on a per county need. So when they call, we're making sure we're working with DSS and DHEC to get those shelters up, and again, those public servants that work for those agencies are out there staffing them, doing a great job with that as well. Other than that, all bridges are open except for the Ravenel Bridge. We are dealing with freezing on that, so we do have that one closed right now, and we have gone ahead and requested a federal emergency declaration, and that is really more precautionary by nature, just in case we need generators, MREs, water, anything to supplement what we already need. It is more of me just making sure we're ahead of the curve. Should we need it, we have not asked for anything yet. We've just submitted it so that we have time to do that.
Normally bustling and busy, Atlanta is a ghostly, icy vision frozen in time. Salt trucks worked overtime overnight to prepare Georgia roads for sleet and ice. The storm stretched into Augusta, Georgia, topping trees and power lines with ice.
No city does well with dealing with ice, but we're as prepared as we can be.
Tens of thousands are without power across the southeast. Those people could be left in the cold for days, although power trucks from as far as Iowa have arrived to help. This is the second time in 2 weeks a snowstorm has hit southern states not used to wintry weather. North Carolina's governor declared a state of emergency.
The next 8 hours are going to be very tough here in the Carolinas, from the coast all the way to the mountains.
More than 2,000 flights are canceled. Virtually every in Charlotte, North Carolina is closed. Leaders there saw what happened in Atlanta 2 weeks ago and said, not in this town.
And I can tell you, for me personally, I've done this a lot of years, and I never wanted Atlanta in Charlotte.
Heavy snow started in Charlotte midday Wednesday and is expected to last all night. In Charlotte, Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Continues to fall. Oh, someone just hit our windshield with a snowball. So some people are out here having fun, it appears. We have seen some people walking around. You see cars driving through this intersection. What I can tell you about the roads right here, we are not far from Winthrop College right now, going very slowly. They are being cautious drivers. They've heard the warning from officials to keep off the roads unless absolutely necessary. So people who are venturing out are taking it slow. You can see lots of tire tracks, or we're stopped right now on this intersection. I'll tell you that when you stop, sometimes your tires have to get a little momentum to get that traction because the roads are slick and slippery. Not necessarily too icy yet everywhere, but there are some places, especially in your neighborhood roads, where you will see a little bit more ice. We've been getting in touch with South Carolina DOT all morning, and they have been working around the clock since Monday. They've been pre-treating the roads. Unfortunately, a lot of that pre-treatment was washed away by rain yesterday. They were able to retreat some of the roads when they had the break in the storm, but it is something that they're continuing to work on. They have snow plows out in York County as they continue to try to clear the roads for people who might be venturing out. But your best bet really is to stay indoors if possible. We're going to keep monitoring the situation with our storm cam, but for now, Allison Peter will send it back to you.
All right, Paige, thank you. Duke Energy crews are on standby right now to address any power outages because of the storm.
Eyewitness News reporter Stephanie Quinn is live in South Charlotte to talk about one of the biggest concerns that could cause problems in your neighborhood. Stephanie?
Power outages can happen anywhere, but if you're inside your home, inside your office, and you're looking out your window and you see this, you could be at a greater risk. We're talking about very large branches, and we're also talking about exposed power lines. The reason for that greater risk of power outages is because ice and wet snow can actually weigh those power lines down, snapping them. Branches can also fall onto those power lines, snapping them. And I've been checking in with Duke Energy since 3 this morning. As of 12:30, they were reporting 150 outages in both North and South Carolina's, 8 here in Mecklenburg County. And officials tell me they are likely weather-related. Officials are also warning people that it could take several days to restore power. They currently have 3,400 crews ready to go, and earlier this morning, 500 of those crews drove to Greensboro and Florence to stand by there. I've also been speaking with people all morning long, and many say they're ready for the worst.
We've already talked about it as neighbors. People across the street, if they lose power, they come to our house. The people up the street are on a whole different set of lines as well.
And in the last 20 minutes, I also touched base with Blue Ridge Electric. They say they're reporting 0 outages. They did have about 74 in Watauga County. Someone cut a branch and downed a power line, but again, power has been restored. I will touch base with both companies and pass along any outages reported along to you. For now, I'm in Dilworth. Stephanie Quinn, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Stephanie, thank you. And now a live look from our DOT camera. This is right at the state line between North and South Carolina, where we're seeing a DOT truck with the flashing lights come on through, but traffic is creeping. This snowstorm is crippling the commute for multiple states. We are continuing our live coverage of Snowstorm 2014. We'll check in with meteorologist Keith Monday, who is tracking the difference you'll see depending on where you live, from the ice to the snow. Potentially up to a foot in the mountains. You can count on Eyewitness News to get you through this winter storm as it just begins. We'll be right back.
Now, this bridge is a major connector from Mount Pleasant to Charleston. So when it was closed for more than a day 2 weeks ago, people were frustrated, but now they're even more so. They say they've seen this movie. Now, I just spoke with SCDOT officials, and they tell me they don't have an estimate for a time that they are going to be able to reopen the bridge, but they hope to have it done before the day. So they're hoping it won't be an all-day event like it was 2 weeks ago, and right now they're urging drivers across the low country to be patient. For now, I'm Hannah Mosley for Wacom News Network.
Fascinating to see the different conditions across the two Carolinas, and when you hear about that particular bridge being closed, it's a very rare occasion, so you know that they're dealing with some serious stuff there.
And these conditions are rapidly changing right now. Let's get you over to meteorologist Kelly Franson, the First Alert Weather Center. Kel?
We are under that winter storm warning. Everybody in the viewing area, if you can see us, yes, you are under it. The question is not do you get something, it's how much do you get. And do you get all snow? Do you get snow and sleet? Do you get snow, sleet, and freezing rain? And how much of each? So obviously a lot of questions still to answer. Latest snapshot of the radar shows a lot of white. Where you see the lighter colors, that's generally lighter snow. It took a while to really moisten up the atmosphere and get that to hit the ground. So there still may be a few of you out there that have not seen snow yet or are only seeing flurries. If that's you, trust me, you are going to get a lot more before this system is through.
There goes that system up the coastline. Finally, by 6 p.m., most of the moisture is out of here. Could still be getting some wraparound northwesterly flow, producing some snow in the mountains. But for most of us, things will finally be quieting down on Thursday. But it's going to take quite a while to melt everything that is on the ground. Speaking of everything on the ground, here we go. This is what we're thinking. Foothills and mountains, 8 to 12 inches of snow. You will likely see all snow. As you go north and west of I-85, 4 to 8 inches of snow. Mostly snow. Could see some sleet mixing in, maybe even briefly freezing rain, but it looks more like sleet. South of I-85, 3 to 6 inches on average. I know some of you have already seen a little more than that in select locations. You're much more likely to get sleet and freezing rain from here on out. Tomorrow, temperatures make it above freezing, probably not for long, not going to do a lot of melting. Eventually, though, we get you through the 40s, into the 50s, as we get you into next week.
is working on this with the Warming Center. Mecklenburg County is doing a lot on the human services side. Governor McCrory has sent
so far, and we are having some of the problems on Independence Boulevard, particularly is a trouble spot. 485 has also been a trouble spot this afternoon.
Certainly, we picked up some accidents around this area as well. So certainly, it's not as bad as some of the other areas around the city, but as we look around I-485, Mallard Creek Church Road, accidents are starting to happen.
The police chief in Salisbury is urging folks to stay off the roads. So is the director of emergency medical services, and there have been some accidents in different parts of the county, including about 20 minutes ago, I heard an accident reported on Interstate 85.
We can underscore that, Nadine, and thanks so much. Let's go over to the Weather Center right now. Kelly Franson, Marine is joining her over there.
Now, what's interesting, Kelly, as you were mentioning, that in some areas we see a little bit of slush on the roadway, but we're also seeing the ice from below.
No doubt. And these are very small, dry little flakes. David, thanks so much, in Salisbury. And, you know, for the most part, they weren't sticking early on. They were just blowing around. But now, you can see it really is starting to pile up.
Well, we want to go now to an obscene report from Brian Stevenson. He's coming to us from Union.
Be careful on the sidewalks. Just walking around here for a couple of minutes. Photographer and I almost slipped a couple of times. So you want to be careful when you're out here. Not quite sure what's underneath the snow, so be careful.
How long have you been stuck out here in this traffic?
It has to be over an hour now.
Hey, where are you trying to go to? I mean, why are you on the roads?
Well, I had to go clean some buildings before it gets too, it gets too bad. So I'm cleaning buildings, and I told my son-in-law to go home, and I'll take care of the buildings. So I'm out here, but it's all right.
So you've been out here for more than an hour. You're trying to go, I think you told me 2 miles ahead?
Yeah, just 2 miles. It's all right. But I'm from Connecticut, so what the heck? You know, I like this.
You like sitting in traffic for hours?
No, I love the snow.
Well, thank you so much. Be safe, sir. Thank you. How much gas do you have in your car?
A little bit over half.
Okay, so you hope you're all right.
I'm good.
All right. Thank you. Now, we were just going to point out to you guys now that we are going to head up this way a little bit. We talked to CMPD. They actually have, you're not allowed to get onto this anymore. You guys were wondering why they have it blocked off. It's not so much the road. It's not so much Independence. It's the fact that people are sliding down the ramps. They can't get onto they can't get past these hills. And so if you see, we've got even more, the CATS bus right now trying to get through its snow detour, trying to get into the different lanes, because some of these further lanes over here, even the bus lanes, are really snowy, they're really icy and hard to get around. We were talking to some other people here who didn't actually want to go on camera. They've been out here for several hours. Now, the police officers say that another problem they have is that people are out on these roadways with, as one of the officers told me, just completely bald tires, that they're driving on tires they shouldn't be driving on a regular road anyway, but they're slipping into other vehicles. They're making the situation even worse for people. The traffic not moving very much here, as you see. Again, right over that hill there, we saw police officers who basically are letting 1 or 2 cars pass by. They cannot get up that hill area on Independence. And so they're struggling on allowing how many vehicles they can let through at the time. You can see the cars coming inbound on Independence right now. The roads aren't that great. You can tell they have been treated. We've seen plows come in and out, but they're still really difficult to drive on. And we're starting to see a reduction in the amount of vehicles coming inbound, but this right here is simply just getting worse. I'm going to see if Kevin can show you all the way back. You can see there's a man out there walking. Several people have just been getting out of their cars and leaving the situation. Some to get gas, some people who just don't want to sit in there anymore. Unfortunately, some vehicles have slipped in that area, according to police, because, again, they're not really sure how to drive in this, or maybe they don't have the proper equipment. But this is going to last for several hours. If you know someone who is stuck in this situation, go ahead, make sure that they have all the supplies they might need, because they could be here for quite a while now. Again, we're going to let Kevin show. It appears that there is some movement going on this side here. We're starting to see this every couple minutes, a little bit of movement, a little shift in the traffic pattern, but for the most part, we're not seeing cars do anything. And I don't know if you can hear that. You can hear cars struggling to just get up this slight hill here. There are people continuing to get out there. The cars that are left here make it very difficult for the vehicles. We're going to go back down and see if we can talk to any of these people as traffic is starting to move a little bit here. I apologize, I am trying to walk down this hill as the snow and sleet are starting to fall pretty hard again in our area, and get a little bit worse. See if we can get anybody here who wants to chat with us about just how long they've been sitting in this mess. Unfortunately, several of these people already saying that they're not that interested in talking about it. It wasn't something that they were hoping to do. Hold on real quick, sir. What was that? Were you expecting this, or?
Well, you know, no, I was not, you know, and I was 1.5 day, but wow, and it's like upstate. I'm from upstate New York, and this is kind of like it.
What made you get on the road today? There were several warnings saying, please stay at home.
It was just some morning work to do. That's what it was. Yes, I'm one of those people.
How long have you been stuck here?
An hour.
Right here. You have not moved in an hour.
Yeah, I got here no problem. It's the rest of right here. I've been here an hour.
How far do you have to go? Where are you trying to head to?
Hill. Elmore Road to Mid Hill.
And I mean, what we're looking at is the fact that it appears to be that the cars can't get off this hill here. So all of these vehicles, the cops kind of have it blocked off. Oh, you're fine. Kind of have it blocked off. They can't get up. But vehicles that aren't ready for it. Are you prepared? Do you have enough gas if you have to sit here for hours? Thanks so much, sir.
Yeah, I do. I have a 3/4 tank of gas.
Were you expecting to see something like this in Charlotte, especially so soon after Atlanta?
Not this, but wow. We'll leave it at an optimistic wow.
Thanks so much, sir. Good luck. Thank you. You too.
All right, as you can see, I think a lot of people weren't expecting this to be like this in Charlotte. There was a lot of preparation. There was a lot of talk about it, a lot of warning. And so to see something like this, to see this many cars here in the city, in the heart of the city, really, Uptown is kind of a clogged area. I've heard other people talk about the areas that they're in and having a difficult time getting up and out because of the hills, because of the way that it's laid out. It has been difficult to get in and out of. You can see this person right here trying to move. I don't know if Kevin's putting video on them, trying to move stuff off of their car, trying to get the windshield wipers. We've seen several people doing that because it's cold. It's starting to freeze on their windshields. And it is a tough situation out there, guys. I'm not sure if on the traffic cameras you can see, but we're told by officers that this goes back several miles now.
No, I mean, that was happening
and
to
we'll
me.
go ahead and let Kevin then...
No, I was just going to say that was happening an hour ago as well. I mean, and it's only getting worse. We can hear the sleet pinging off your jacket and the microphone that you're using. So, God, what a miserable situation that is.
Yeah, and my face, too. It's definitely uncomfortable.
Let's start off and show you what the conditions look like with our Scott Clark Toyota City Weather Net. And they're at Metro School. Now, this is a time lapse, and notice how the snow suddenly whites everything over. 21 degrees, folks. The temperature has been falling all afternoon. We certainly did not expect the temperatures to rise today, so that falling in line. I will also say that the timing of the storm has pretty much unfolded the way we thought it would. Around Charlotte, 9:30 this morning, snow really started to roll over the Piedmont of both North and South Carolina, so it's completely overtaken the WBTV viewing area. But again, what we also want to point out is where we're seeing sleet mixing in and eventually freezing rain. But do you notice that most of this freezing rain at the moment is out of the WBTV viewing area? It's more like down around the I-95 corridor, the South Carolina Midlands. Now, in terms of the sleet, again, it's mixing in. This is where we started to see the accumulations first. And right now, rough estimates, we're looking at about 6 to 7 inches of snow down around the PD River Valley. That would be in counties east of Charlotte, about 3 to 4 in Mecklenburg, and we're getting 2 or so now on the western side of I-77. But here's the deal. I expect most of this to still continue to push more to the north. So you folks who are looking for more, I know there's a lot of snow geese out there. Do not despair. A lot of snow is going to be heading back up the I-77 corridor. You'll see earlier, though, this is already, we're going to try to update these for you, where they started to get the heaviest snow around Chesterfield. They had the 4-inch amount around 2 o'clock. We noted here in Huntersville about 2 inches, about 1.5 inches in Gastonia. So you see how the accumulations taper off as you go north and west, but that will not remain the case through this storm as more and more snow continues to roll northbound. All the purple winter storm warnings, fortunately no ice storm warnings just yet for the WBTV viewing area. We're hoping we can keep it that way. Meantime, this in effect until 6 o'clock Thursday. I still expect to see snow off and on all the way through tonight and during the day tomorrow as this storm, and it is a big one, continues to roll through the southeast. That's the way it is right now. Kelly and I are here. We'll continue to keep you updated through the hour.
Okay, guys, can we go to that camera shot for one more second if we can? We'll bring that back up full. I want to see there's a couple cars right now trying to make it up that big overpass that then swings over to 485 in Pineville. I was just curious as we were watching it, were they going to be able to make it? You can see the one car is stuck there on the left side of the screen, stuck in the snow there.
For a while.
Has it been there for a while? Tanya said it's been there for a while.
And we've seen people get out of their cars in that area as well. And it's very dangerous. So just to, why even try it? Why take that chance?
No question about it. Luckily, it looks like they've got some sort of treatment down, at least in the one side there, so some folks are being able to make it over.
CMPD has shut off North 7th Street, north of Caswell here, blocking traffic because a truck slid into a power line.
This is special coverage of Snowstorm 2014. This is a storm that will go in the record books, leaving its mark on Charlotte. Charlotte and Mecklenburg County in the last 30 minutes declared a state of emergency. The roads, the major ones and the secondary ones, just a mess here in Charlotte and around the region. And if you haven't heard already, Charlotte Mecklenburg schools closed again tomorrow.
It's been coming down so hard that it is now snow covered. The other thing too, you can see there aren't really that many folks out. I'm along Highway 27 on the bridge that goes over 321, and as I pan to the right, just a few cars, and those cars are going very slowly. Off in the distance, you can see that snowfall. We shot some video just a short time ago, and you can see what it looked like as that snow moved in here to the Hickory area, the very heavy snow. In fact, this is probably the heaviest snow that we have seen all day. It started coming down around noon, and it's mixed in with some sleet throughout the day, but by far what I'm seeing right now is the heaviest snow. I would say we're getting snowfall rates in the neighborhood of maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches an hour if it keeps up like this. Reporting from Hickory, where it is 22, 23 degrees right now. I'm Dave Faraday, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of this winter storm. We want to go south of here right now to Rock Hill and check in with Brad Berkey. Brad?
Sonia, we're along Sherry Road in Rock Hill where the traffic all day today has been lightening up. Let me show you what we're facing tonight. We've talked a lot about the icing situation. Look over here. An hour ago we showed you this. We're in the apron of a gas station here, so we're not in the street. But this was slush. Look at it now. It is almost block ice. This is what many of the road conditions are like around here. This is what you're going to be driving on if you insist upon going out tonight.
Airports shut down and cars abandoned on highways, and it's all sliding north. Also sky high, the weather continues to make news here in Sochi as well, where it's warmer than almost the entire continental U.S. Some tough conditions out there on the course.
This is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams, reporting tonight from the Olympic Winter Games in Sochi, Russia.
Good evening. Tonight on the interstate in North Carolina, people who are unable to move forward are parking their cars, locking the doors, and walking away in the middle of a storm. They will retrieve them some other time. But for now, tonight, a storm is moving up over top of them at speeds faster than traffic on a good day. A terrifically large snow and ice storm that now almost follows the path of I-95 to the north. We estimate that upwards of 500,000 people are without power tonight. Staggering number, considering the wires might stay down now for days. Schools are out, some canceled days in advance. Airports obviously shut down, and we can see how air travel has diverted around the area, and in some places the precip is falling as ice. We have it all covered. Al Roker is here. Peter Alexander is in hard-hit Charlotte, North Carolina. Mark Potter is going to start us off in Atlanta tonight. Mark, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. In a word, the weather here in Atlanta is just miserable, and it is expected to get even worse tonight and tomorrow. Already some 5,500 flights have either been delayed or canceled. The city of Atlanta learned a hard lesson from the last big storm, when thousands of motorists were stranded on area roads, including I-85. This is that same stretch of highway today, as people now heed official warnings and stay off the roads. Still, there is no escaping the ice. Weather problems began today, shortly before dawn, when freezing rain became slush and ice, causing accidents. As trees grew heavy with ice, they began to fall. This one fell into a house.
I heard a big crash.
Where an 88-year-old woman was sleeping in this bed when the ceiling collapsed. Her grandson says while injured, she's lucky to be alive.
And she was just covered with insulation and sheetrock.
Power crews spent all day repairing downed lines, as more than 200,000 Georgia homes and businesses lost service.
Just getting the lights back on.
While some who lost power have generators for lights and heat, others aren't so fortunate.
We've got a fire going. That's basically it right now. Candles, no phone service either.
As the roads became more dangerous, plows tried to keep pace with the weather. Among those staying home today are the Ackermans. For Robin the mom and Bert the dad, having their daughters and all their friends off from school now is a bit of a challenge.
The first couple days are fun, but then you really get stir crazy.
Elsewhere, trees in South Carolina bristle with ice, and Tennessee roads are covered by snow. The weather forced thousands of flight cancellations and left the Atlanta airport a ghost town as the Deep South digs out and braces for more. Mark Potter, NBC News, Atlanta.
This is Peter Alexander in North Carolina, where thousands of drivers found themselves stuck in Charlotte's web.
Very heavy traffic in the uptown area due to the ice.
With up to 6 inches of snow falling, more than the city averages in an entire year, by mid-afternoon, the backups extended for miles. You've been out here for 2 hours.
Literally since the turn, we've been here for like an hour and a half.
The drivers left spinning their wheels.
I guess people don't know how to drive in the snow.
A city official here this week. Many drivers ignored warnings to stay home. Early today, the state's governor urged residents to be smart.
Don't put your stupid hat on at this point in time.
Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your neighbors.
On social media, tweets offering traffic advice, others asking for help. Friends stuck in a ditch with 2-year-old, one wrote, then an hour later rescued. Bless the internet. The gridlock extended to Raleigh-Durham too, with some people abandoning their cars altogether.
That highway that was paralyzed with traffic just hours ago tonight, you can see it is finally clear, but there is more snow, sleet, and ice expected overnight. Brian, this is the biggest snowfall to hit Charlotte in a decade, and it has already crippled, paralyzed even, part of the Carolinas.
Unbelievable scenes there. Peter Alexander, Mark Potter before that. Gentlemen, thank you both.
Also to weigh down trees, snapping branches, bringing down power lines and knocking out power. 300,000 people without power this morning. Crews have been working throughout the night trying to restore those with a driver who struck a fallen tree. Troopers have responded to more than 3,000 calls for help in the state and 900 crashes.
Welcome back to CBS.